This story is for only entertainment purpose. It is based on author's imagination only. It has nothing to do with title's real life. I'm doing it so please mute if you are uncomfortable. Thank you. The sun was just starting to peek through the heavy charcoal curtains of your master bedroom, casting a soft golden glow over the rumpled silk sheets. It was one of those rare mornings where the alarm hadn't shrieked yet, and the world felt like it belonged only to the two of you. You shifted slightly, the cool air hitting your bare shoulder, but you didn't pull away. You couldn't, not when you was laying there, like a total masterpiece. He was out cold. The cold workaholic CEO that the business world feared was currently replaced by a man who looked like a soft, pouting babe. His dark hair was messy, fanned out against the white pillowcase, and his long lashes cast tiny shadows on his cheeks. His lips were slightly parted, and his breathing was so deep and steady it was almost hypnotic. Popped up on one elbow, staring down at him with a helpless smile. It's actually illegal to be this fine and this cute at the same time. How am I supposed to get up and be a productive human being when this is my view? You felt a familiar edge in your chest, the one that always comes when you look at him. You were a total. You thrived on it. You wanted to be. But he was different. He loved you, you knew that. But he was controlled, stoic. He expressed himself through expensive gifts and providing a life of luxury, while you just wanted to crawl inside his skin. Reaching out the trembled finger, resisting a line of his jaw so softly it was barely a gust of touch. You moved your hand upward, gazing the shell of his hair, then down to the tiny mole under his bottom lip. You were being so careful, holding your breath because you didn't want to wake him up just yet. You wanted to memorize the way he looked when he wasn't thinking about stocks, mergers, or board meetings. Thinking, I wonder what would happen if I just beat that LRP. Would you finally lose that cold CEO mask? Suddenly his breathing hitched. You froze, your hand hovering over his cheek. One of his eyes cracked open, dark, sleepy, and heavy with the morning haze that made your stomach do a slow somersault. His voice was a deep, gravelly rasp that sent a literal shiver down your spine. You're stuttering again. Blushing but refusing to pull your hand back. I wasn't staring, I was observing. There's a difference. Closing his eyes again, a tiny, almost invisible smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. Observing my mole for the 10th time this week. He reached out blindly, his hand finding yours. His palm large and heavy. He didn't pull you closer, he never did the cuddling thing first. He just held you there, a silent and sure. Leaning down, your hair brushing against his forehead. You're late for your workout, Mr. Jeon. Does the big scarcity have no discipline this morning? Opening both eyes now, the sleepiness clearly to reveal that sharp, analytical gaze he was famous for. I work until 3 a.m. My discipline is just fine, my energy levels, however. Trailing your fingers down to the pulse point on his neck. Well, I could help you with your energy. We could skip the gym. I've got plenty of ways to get your heart rate up right here. He stared at you for a long, agonizing second. You could see internal struggle in his eyes. Then he sighed, his hand leaving yours to reach for his phone. I have a 9 a.m. briefing with the European partners. I don't have time for your games this morning, princess. Flopping back onto the pillows with the exaggerated crow. Games, I'm being adorting. You're so boring. One of these days, I'm going to make you forget even own company. We'll see about that. If he wants to be cold, I just have to turn up the heat until he melts. You quickly brushed your teeth and splashed some water on your face, feeling the lingering. As you walked out, you spotted him near the dresser, already reaching for a crisp white shirt. You didn't say anything, just stood on your tiptoes and he entered the kitchen looking like he'd stepped off runaway. Good morning again, Mr. CEO. Your caffeine fix exactly how you like it. You look up at him with your best doting eyes, wide, sparkling, and full of attention. For a split second, his gaze softened. He looked at you, and you could see the workaholic world trembling. He was mesmerized, caught in the trap of how domestic and beautiful you look in the morning light. But then he blinked. He took the mug, his fingers brushing against yours for a brief electric second. Smells good, Vayan. Thank you. He moved to the kitchen island and opened his iPad, immediately scrolling through emails. No, you look beautiful. No, I love this breakfast. Just coffee and data. Turning back to the stove, you started plating the eggs, but your mind wasn't on the wood. You could feel him standing just a few feet behind you. You wanted, no, you needed him to move. You wanted to feel those. Just one. Is that too much to ask? I know you're busy, but I'm standing right here. Use your hand for something other than scrolling for once. Over your shoulder voice playful. You know the mangoes are really sweet today. If you are a good boy and put the iPad down for 10 minutes, I might give you the biggest slice. Without looking up, his voice distracted. Save it for yourself. I have to be out the door in 15 minutes. The driver is already circling the block. Shining, your heart sinking just a little, right? The driver, God forbid, the car has to wait for a mango. You turn back to the counter, feeling a bit of that nerdy irritation bubbling up. If he wanted to be a robot, fine, but robots were meant to be programmed, and you were about to change its settings. Lifting the bite to your own lips, eyes locked on him as you took a slow, savoring bite. It's literally perfect today. The spice is just right. His throat moved. You heard that distinct, heavy click of him swallowing his own saliva. The cold CEO was clearly losing the battle against his own stomach. He looked at the plate, then at you, his eyebrows twitching in confusion. Is that the only plate? Oh, this? Yeah. I was just so hungry. I thought I'd eat first. Why? Do you want some? He looked like the empty counter, then back at you. He looked almost betrayed for the man who had everything his fingertips. The idea that his wife hasn't prepared a separate tray for him was a glitch in his system. He wasn't used to being doted on, not really. His mother had always been a shadow to his powerful father, far too busy maintaining appearances to ever sit down and hand-feed her son. You didn't wait for him to answer. You assembled another bite, the turmeric stained eggs looking vibrant against the bread. This time you didn't move it toward your own mouth. You leaned in, invading the professional bubble he tried so hard to maintain, and held the bite right against his lower lip. Open up, unless you are too busy with your image to taste what I made for you. His entire body went rigid. He looked at the food, then up at you. His dark eyes wide and suddenly very. He looked close forwards. Every eyesight for the man who ran boardrooms with an iron fist. I can feed myself, I'm not a child. I never said you were, but I like doing this. Don't be difficult. For a long heartbeat, he didn't move. Then slowly, almost as if he was yielding to a force he couldn't fight, he took the bite from your fingers. Finally, look at you, sitting there like a king while I serve you. If you only knew how much I want to pull you off that stool and make you forget about that 9 a.m. meeting. It's good. I know it is now. Another one or other European partners more important than your wife's cooking. You continue to feed him bite by bite, savoring the way his eyes never left yours. Every time the fingertips, a jolt of electricity shot up your arm. By the time he realized the clock had ticked past his departure time, he had to scramble out of the door, throwing you a confused, lingering look that told you he would be thinking about the breakfast all day.